All right, there's this word, you've heard it a million times. You've probably even said it, but let's be honest, you probably don't know what it really means. We're gonna fix that today.
So right out of the gate, I want you to do something for me. Just take a second. Try to answer this question. And I'm not talking about a house. I'm talking about your life. What is your life's foundation?
Hey, if you're coming up empty, that's okay. It's not on you. You're not alone in this, I promise. Nobody ever sits us down and actually explains what this word means for our lives. And that's a massive problem. Why? Because every single framework, every tool we talk about on this channel, it all sits on top of this one idea. If you don't get this part right, nothing else is going to stick.
So to really get a grip on this, we're going to start with something real, something physical. Not some abstract idea, not a metaphor, an actual physical house. So when you see a house being built, what do you think happens first? Most people think, oh, the walls go up. Nope, that's totally wrong. Long before you see anything above ground, a crew comes in and just digs a massive hole. They keep digging until they hit solid ground that can actually hold weight. Then they build this frame, they lay down a grid of steel rebar, and then they pour tons of concrete over the whole thing. This takes weeks, man. It costs a fortune. And here's the kicker. Here's the part that matters most. When all that work is done, you can't see any of it. It's completely buried, hidden, doing all its work in the dark. That is a foundation.
So you gotta ask, why bother with all that? Why not save a ton of time and money and just start throwing up some walls? Well, here's why. A house without a foundation is basically a house with an expiration date stamped on it. Sure, it might look fine for a few years, 5 years, maybe 10, but eventually the cracks start to appear. The floors start to tilt. Doors don't close right anymore. And by the time you see those problems on the surface, the real damage, the deep damage, is already done.
Okay, and this is where it all comes home. Your life works the exact same way. All the stuff people see, your job, your marriage, your bank account, that's just the walls and the roof. But underneath all of that, there's either something solid holding it all together, or there's nothing at all.
So let's define this thing. What is a life foundation? It's what you actually believe about how the world works. Not what you say you believe, but what you actually believe. It's your values, your core principles. It's your gut-level understanding of who you are and what the hell you're here for. It is the complete opposite of just drifting. The opposite of just reacting to whatever life throws at you day after day.
And just like with that house, the cracks in your life don't show up right away. They start appearing later, usually in your 30s or 40s. A marriage just falls apart, and you're left wondering why. Your career, the one you worked so hard for, suddenly feels hollow. You've got this anxiety humming in the background, and you can't even name it. See, the problem isn't the cracks themselves. The real problem is what's underneath. Or rather, what's not underneath. There's nothing solid holding it all together.
Okay, stay with me, because this is the part that nobody ever tells you. The reason you probably don't have one of these solid foundations, it's not because you're lazy, it's not because you're weak. It's because you were never supposed to have one in the first place.
Now look, I'm not some conspiracy nut. This is just an observable fact. Your lack of a foundation isn't a personal failure. It was the predictable, almost guaranteed result of the culture we were all raised in.
Just think about it for a second. Who benefits when you don't know what you stand for? Advertisers do. A person with real values is a terrible customer. Politicians do. It's way easier to manipulate and scare people who don't have a core set of principles. Social media algorithms, they are built to keep you reacting, to keep you outraged, not to help you reflect. The whole system is set up to reward people who can be easily moved, not people who are grounded.
You know that old saying, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything? Well, man, that is more true today than it has ever been. Without a foundation, you don't adapt, you just drift. You just get blown around by whatever the strongest opinion is that day. Your friends change your politics, your newsfeed changes your priorities, and let me be clear, that is not freedom. That is the exact opposite of freedom.
All right, so that's the problem. It's a big one. So what's the solution? What is a foundation actually made of? What are the materials?
A foundation is built out of the things you hold to be true, the things you'd bet your life on. Now, I'm just going to be straight with you here. For me personally, my foundation is my Christian faith. It's the wisdom in the Bible. It's what got me through some really dark times, and it's the filter I run my whole life through now. But, and this is absolutely crucial, I'm not here to tell you that you need to believe what I believe. I'm telling you that you need to have a foundation of your own. Maybe yours is a different faith, maybe it's a philosophy like Stoicism, maybe it's a moral code that you build piece by piece. The specifics can be different for everyone, but the need for one, that's universal.
Okay, so how do you actually build this thing? Well, it's the same way you build that physical foundation for a house. Slowly, deliberately, and you have to use materials that can actually hold some damn weight.
All right, here are the steps. Step 1, you have to ask yourself, what do I actually believe? Not what my parents told me, not what my teachers told me, but what do I believe? Step 2, you got to write it down. Getting it out of your head and onto paper makes it real. Step 3, you start using it. You run your decisions through it. Does this job offer, does this relationship line up with what I stand on? Step 4, you revise it. As you go through life and you learn things the hard way, you update it. That's not being a hypocrite. That's called integrity. And step 5, this is the toughest one. You have to stand on it when it costs you something. That's how you know it's real, when it's hard.
And look, this is why this explainer is so important for everything else we talk about here. All those systems we break down, for your money, for your time, for your knowledge, all of that is downstream from this. Without a solid foundation, those are just cool ideas. They have nothing to anchor to. They won't stick.
So here's your homework. I'm calling it the Architect's Challenge. Before you watch anything else, I want you to take 15 minutes, just 15 minutes, and ask yourself that question. What do I actually stand on? And if you can't answer it right away, that is not a failure. That is your starting line. That's day 1. Now you know the real work you need to do.
And to make this real, right now I want you to go down to the comments and drop just one thing you stand on, just one principle or belief. Writing it down, saying it out loud, even to a bunch of strangers on the internet, that's the first pour of the concrete. It's how you start building something solid.
Listen to me. Most people out there are building their entire lives on sand, and they have no idea. But that doesn't have to be you. Now you know what a foundation is, which means you can choose to build one. Yeah, it's slow work, it's invisible work, but I promise you, it is the only work that truly matters. You weren't slow, you weren't behind. You just weren't told. And that's what we're going to fix.